And good afternoon. It is Wednesday, August 27th, 2025. We are just 1 week away from Newport Public Schools being back in session for the 2025-2026 school year. That makes me feel so old when I think about how many years ago that I'm going to take a guess that I would be the youngest one on this call today, but I am not going to presume anything because that never does anybody any good. But yes, school starts in just a week. Mr. Frank Prosnitz joins me. Frank, how are you?
I'm fine. When I went to school, we just had these one-room schoolhouses. Everybody was in the,
I believe it. I believe it. I don't know why I went that way. And I'm not even going to bring a lady into the conversation while I'm talking about age, how many years ago, or anything of the sort. So, it's been an exciting time for Newport Public Schools. Of course, the new Rogers opened, and to chat to us today about the new Rogers as well as the new school year, Newport School Superintendent Colleen Jermain. Superintendent, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Ryan. Hi, Frank. Summer, here we are. Yes, 1 week away from the first day of school for our students, and we're very excited. Yeah. And I'm sitting in the new Rogers right now. The office is a little bare. I thought I'd throw the potential of what the campus will look like. And then this is actually, I don't know if I can get it up. This is the rendition of what they actually thought the campus was going to look like.
I'm trying to get you there. Hold on one second, Superintendent.
Is my head in the way?
No, it's me. It's me.
Okay, that's okay, but they're both here. We're going to have these on display for the future for everyone to see, but you can see what the building, the artist rendition of what the campus was going to be. This is the one we're knocking down, and then I am blocking the one that we're going into. So there you go. Got a lot going on.
Look at that. Some show and tell today. She is back and ready for the new school year, Frank.
Oh, and for those viewers, if I can squeeze out of this, here you go. Can you see that? The demolition?
Hold on one second. They're going to see it. Here we go.
There you go. That's the demolition. The new part, the north parking lot just got paved yesterday. And then over here to the side, you can see the, the parking lot and what they're doing. And if you really want me to do something, I don't know if I can get out of here. I'm going to give you a sneak peek just from the third floor, what it looks like when you're inside the building. So here is the new Rogers High School. Let me see if I have my camera.
Yeah, you're inside. Yep. Excellent. It's so quiet.
It is.
These kids are well behaved.
I wonder if you're going to be able to see this because of the lighting. Let me go this way. Can you see that?
Yeah, we can still see. Yep.
That is a donation from one of our alumni, class of 1943, artist James Baker. So he donated that beautiful piece of art. But this is the new one. And maybe I can take you through a walking tour in the future, but we're here. We're in the building.
That's great.
So, yeah.
All right, Frank. With that said, I'm going to let you take it away. I know you get all sorts of fun questions.
So, start on a very different note, and that is your response to the horrific shooting in Minnesota this morning, in which 2 children were killed, 8 and 10 years old. 17 other people were wounded, injured, 14 of them children. And I guess from 2 points, from just a general reaction, but also how can you assure parents in Newport that their children are safe?
So that's every person's nightmare and every superintendent. That's why we don't sleep well at night. Student safety is always first and foremost on all our minds. My thoughts and prayers and condolences. And I don't think words can ever be expressed to share the grief and the outrage and horrible things that happen in our world today. But that first and foremost, as far as how it happened, where it happened, I can't even imagine why someone would think of ever doing something like that. In Newport Public Schools, student safety is first and foremost our number one priority, which I'm sure it is in every school district. We purposely have rules in place as far as children's safety regarding if anyone comes to school or if anyone inquires about a child, that is, it's just not allowed. There's FERPA laws. There's important papers that we have people fill out, parents fill out, that who their children can be released to if anyone does visit the school and want to talk to a child or has inquiries about a child. As far as security in our buildings, we are diligent and watch carefully our surroundings as far as our campuses. We do have cameras in our schools, but cameras aren't a solution. It's each and every one of us being very aware of what is going on, being very aware of who is on our campus, and just staying alert. It's a very different world, and we as adults need to constantly 24/7 be on guard for protecting our children. It is a sad time and a sad event.
Entryways into the buildings, are there safeguards, or is there multiple stop places where people must stop? Yeah.
Oh, yes. You have to be buzzed into all our schools. There's a holding area in all our schools. You have to show identification we have paperwork, we have names, we have cameras in all our schools. So when people do enter the building, we know who's coming into our buildings, when they're coming into our buildings. But school safety is a priority. We have drills, and we'll go through those drills again with our staff at the beginning of the school year, reminding them of our rules and the practices we need to follow to keep all of us safe, our children, our staff, everyone in our building. So we go through that training, and all of us as administrators are trained. As a superintendent, we need to refresh our skills yearly, and we're given constant updates from the Department of Ed and local police forces. They look at our school safety plans. They look at the campus in general. They look at, what's a good idea, what's not a good idea on a college, a high school campus or middle school campus or elementary campus. So we do all of the above.
So I believe that the state legislature passed legislation that bans smartphones beginning next year, if I'm correct.
There is a legislation was passed that does require all school districts to have a policy and practice in place, and within a certain period of time to keep cell phones off. I'll just say not in use with students during the school days. So there is something going on. Rogers High School will be starting that and implementing that on the first day of school. Cell phones are to be turned off and not turned back on until the school day is over. We do have areas where the administration can take cell phones and lock them up. We do have specific rules, and we know as adults it's going to take a couple of weeks to get everyone on board and to make sure everyone's following the rules. So it's going to be a challenge. Not only do we have a new school, which we're very excited about, and the students love it. It's just great to see their excitement. We have a lot of the sports teams coming in, and some of the club members coming in already into the new school, and they're very excited. But we will have the no cell phone policy will go into effect as the school year unfolds.
I asked that in particular in light of the shooting this morning, because there are parents in all areas that have objected to a no cell phone policy and saying that they can't reach their kids in case of an emergency, or the kids can't reach them. But also getting some pushback from police departments that say they don't want the kids on their cell phones, because what it does in a situation, it creates more havoc than it does being supportive. So it seems to me that goes hand in hand with this whole policy. And then there was, the crazy thing is, in the old days, people just called the school.
That is correct. And actually, we have that policy in place right now. If students do need to make a phone call, they're to go down to the guidance office, and we have a place where they can make phone calls.
Tell us a little bit about, it's clear that you're very excited about being in the new Rogers High School.
Yes.
Kids have seen it. What do you think that's going to mean throughout the school year?
What we're hoping is the excitement just continues and grows. I think for many of our students, when they walked through the building, and we saw this during the tours we were giving before the end of last school year, the students were just they were very much in a state of shock that a building such as this is going to be their school, that they're going to be able to come here every day. The pride they have, just being a student walking through the doors, is evident already. I walked into the gym on Monday night when the girls volleyball was practicing, and the girls were just like, thank you. And it was just so exciting to hear that. The young men on the football team, they're the same way. They were waiting to get into the building, and they were just so excited too. They were, they just were like, I can't wait to get in there. So we just want that to continue. This building, I believe, is a testament to our young people in our community and our families, to how much we care and value them, and that we want to provide the best opportunities for our young people. So we have an environment and a building that can provide all that for our children and for education. But not only that, it's also a building that was purposely built and laid out so that we could have community meetings here. We could share the building with others throughout our community. So the use of the gym, the use of the theater, we have our culinary kitchen, we have our seaside restaurant, which is open to the public. We have cosmetology and automotive, as we have in the past, where that's open to the public. We have the IT Academy. We have all those programs all integrated within the general, I'll say, education, AP courses, the classroom academics, and it's going to open up, I think, a lot of possibilities and that's what we're hoping for, collaboration with all our teachers amongst the staff that can do so much and so much more than they're already doing, as far as meeting the needs of all our children, and our children seeing the overlap and the collaborative work they can do. When you walk through the building, you're going to see areas outside of classrooms. We have a lot of glass in this building. This building has over $2 million worth of glass that was grant funded, and it was purposeful because we know that research shows us the importance of learning environments, and especially natural light. We have science labs in which the tables actually rise and fall in the biology and different science rooms in order to meet the needs of all our students, those to be ADA compliant, but also just in general, so our children can adjust their studies, their work in the science labs to meet their levels as far as height, etc. We have the chemistry labs, we have STEM labs, multiple STEM labs throughout the entire building. As a matter of fact, people are not used to seeing them. So when they see the cords coming down, the electric cords coming down from the ceilings, and they see the different workbenches and what's going on, the kids are very excited to, be able to do a lot of that hands-on learning. But more importantly, as I said before, we still have our AP courses, and we have our classroom activities, honors classes, other classroom learning that all our classes and all our programs use in order to have, that book learning and getting that background knowledge in order to do their, I'll say, their projects, their activities, and to enhance their learning overall for the content area they're studying. So it's we're very excited. It's great, and we're waiting for it to begin next Wednesday.
How will the new school allow for even more programs to career pathways that reflect workforce demands?
Well, all our programs that we have now align to workforce demands. That's part of our requirements as certified technical education. But it also enables our students and our teachers especially, to have the flexibility to work with our business partners, to have more opportunities for our students to visit the sites outside the building. It also enables them to participate in internships. We have programs already here at Rogers High School where students can start their day a little later. They go to work first, and then they come to the building to fulfill their academic requirements for high school graduation. We also do the opposite. Children come to the school first, then they leave early. Sometimes when people see our children learning early, leaving before the regular school day ends at 2:00, we have some neighbors that think that we have our students that are bunking class, and that's not the case. They're actually going, the majority of them. There are some that might be skipping out on us, but they're going to some workforce experiences off campus. On the Rogers High School campus, if you haven't already seen, you'll see that we have, through Director Young's programming and Director Gonzalez in the purchasing of our bands, you'll see throughout, and you've probably seen them throughout the summer. If you've been here at Newport, you'll see the NACTAC bands that go throughout, and that's bringing children to different work site opportunities. But we also loan those vans when school is not in session to our community partners, such as Fab Newport, Boys and Girls Club, so that they can use those vans for transportation to be able to bring their students to different activities during the summer months.
Besides Rogers, which obviously is the biggest development this year, what else is new within the other schools in Newport?
Over at Thompson, we actually had, at the end of the school year, right at the end of the school year, we had new front doors, to the point about security, so that we enhanced that area so that when you do get buzzed into the building, there is a specific holding area. It was a little bit, I'll say, broader than we would have liked when you entered the building. So now it's very narrowed. You have to go through a certain way to get into the building physically. We did that. We also have new rooftop units on top of Thompson. They were 23 years old. We're finishing up on that project, and we want to thank the city for that. That's part of our capital improvement plan. That funding comes from the city. And then over at Pell, we're doing some general, I'll just say, basic maintenance as far as upgrading on the staircases, redoing the treads. We also have had some facility upgrades as far as the flooring, some tile work, and just staying on top of what's going on outside at the playground and in their parking lots. So every place we try to keep up that maintenance, because we know the better we maintain our buildings, the longer they're going to last. And that is something our school committee and the General Assembly has put in as far as a regulation, that we must commit at least X percentage of our overall budget to repair and maintenance in every school.
I don't know how this matches up to previous years, but I think it was last week that U.S. News and World Report came out with its top high schools, not only across the nation. I think it was 18,000 high schools across the nation, but also I think 60 some odd in Rhode Island. Rogers was number 24 on that list. Do you know how that stacks up to previous years?
That is an improvement in previous years. I don't know. And I have to tell you, I've been so busy. I'm glad you're announcing it, Frank. Thank you very much, because I haven't even had the opportunity to share that with my school committee, that Rogers was ranked number 24 U.S. News and World Report.
I'll give you a better number. Nationally, Rogers is ranked 6,069, which sounds like a big number, but out of 18,000 schools, that means in the top third of high schools in the country.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we're getting there, and I think a lot of different factors. Some people are probably like, "How is that? And how does that happen?" It's weighted in a lot of different categories as far as your demographics, your population, your I'll say your poverty. I'll say whether you're an urban, suburban, etc. So I've got to dig into those facts a little bit more. But yes, we do have some things to be very proud of here over at Rogers High School. We are seeing improvements.
I followed the U.S. News and World Report rankings for a number of years, and I think they're pretty good. And I think they drill down a little bit, and they take into consideration the reflection of the communities that these schools are in. So I thought that was a pretty good ranking in terms of Rogers, and I thought that was an improvement. Budgetarily, everything okay?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So I have been saying for over a year and a half, 2 years, that the way we fund public education, it's broken. It's not. Something has to be done about it. And I know everyone tries their best, and we have a funding formula, which I do think the state eventually, and Dr. Wong up at Brown University, Ken Wong, and others did put together. And they tried to weigh it as much as possible, and they tried to implement it, phasing it in. So it wasn't such a dramatic shift for a lot of school districts. So the 10 years have passed since that funding formula was put into place. Now, like everything else, the world has changed. There are different things going on across our public schools that were probably never taken into account when that formula was created. One being English language learners. I only say that because I don't think back then everyone or anyone was really thinking about the impact that would have as far as on our schools, not only in the traditional delivery of education, but also in the staffing, the training, the costs, etc., and how many so fast came into our school districts. So I know there has been discussions, backroom discussions about what do we do, how do we change maybe some of the factors that make up that funding formula or the indicators, what are the components of it. And I think those discussions will keep going on in the next few years. For Newport right now, we do have a significant gap starting our school year. We're forecasting. I want to be very, very clear. We're not in a deficit right now. We're not behind on anything. We can pay our bills. We can do all those things. But mapping out what our year looks like, especially in the area of special education and out of district costs, we are forecasting approximately $1.6 million right now at this point in time. So our goal and our work is to try as best as possible during the school year to try to close that. Unfortunately, that's not always the case, but and the odds are that usually it goes the other way during a school year, but you never know what could happen because, and I think other people in other communities, and our communities heard it a lot, that you never know what can happen in that area of special education because children and families move into a district. A child can come from another district with an IEP that has certain requirements that may require they have their educational services outside the regular school day or in another location. There's transportation costs that go along with that. So there's a lot of factors that happen. Director Andrade and her team have been excellent. I want to be really clear about this. They've been excellent about keeping those costs down, and we were trending in a very good way as far as she and Director Gonzalez worked together to help I'll say consolidate transportation, working and partnering with Middletown as far as transportation, and that reduced our transportation costs quite a bit. We've also been very good here in Newport that we believe our children should be able to attend their local schools. So our staff has been excellent as far as providing as many of those services as possible within our schools so that we don't have to send children out of town to other facilities for their education. But we do right now, we are forecasting about a $1.5, $1.6 million gap. We will continue to look at that on a regular basis. If there are any windfalls or any ways we can turn that around, we certainly will. But and we remain hopeful. Good news, which adds to the gap, but our kindergarten numbers are exceeding what our enrollment projections have been sharing with us. And our enrollment projections have been pretty spot on the past 2 to 4 years. And this year, we started off in our planning and budgeting for 5 kindergartens, which is low for Pell, but the trending was going in the other way, and we weren't having as many registrations at the kindergarten level. We've already had to open an additional grade kindergarten, so we have 6. And now I'm hearing this morning, I only have probably 4 seats left in a 7th kindergarten. And I have to, for the audience, I have to follow contracts, class size caps, etc. So we're keeping a close eye on that one, and we may have to open a 7th kindergarten. So that's supposedly good news because our enrollment is going up. It's also a budget challenge. So
with it sounds like the addition of 2 kindergarten classes. Does Pell have the adequate room to house those?
Yes, we do have the space. Space is not something we're concerned about at Pell. So much so that we're actually doing an analysis this year of whether or not we will put grade 5 at Pell. We've never had grade 5 at Pell. Grade 5 was never planned to be at Pell. But with our declining enrollment, we started to look at the possibilities of bringing grade 5 over to Pell. There are many reasons for this. One is, just the environment in itself. It's more elementary. We have a playground in which the students can actually run around rather than being more like an urban setting at Thompson. They just have that asphalt, concrete area, very small area in the back of Thompson they can use for recess. So that is one of the things we've thought about as far as they have the playground facility. They're in an environment that is more elementary-like. We may have more siblings that we'll be able to keep together. And transportation costs, we may be able to adjust that with fewer students going over to the middle school and then bringing them over to the elementary. We still have that in analysis right now. Curriculum is another factor too, the teaching and learning, the professional development. Grade 5 is an elementary level. So when we have professional development opportunities, when we have training in our curriculum, grade 5 teachers are always part of that. So having them all together with the elementary setting is something we're trying to do. And I think our timeline is by no later than November 1st, we'll make some decision as to, or possibly December 1st, whether or not grade 5 will move to Pell.
Are all staff positions filled?
All staff positions are filled, yes, as of this time. We still have teachers on layoff, though. We have not been able to bring back all our teachers. So I believe we have about 4 or 5 still out on layoff.
All labor contracts?
That's from this year. I want to be clear, that's from this year. We've had teachers from the previous year that are still on layoff too.
All labor contracts settled?
They are as of now. 2027 is when they expire. So I imagine next year we're going to start those conversations. Next year meeting in 2026. Already the committee has asked that a list be put together for negotiating points and a review of the contracts to be prepared for negotiations.
Are we aware of, and I'm not sure what the situation is around the state relative to filling teacher positions, but has the state done anything to prioritize teacher recruitment and perhaps support for current teachers?
Well, teacher recruitment from the state, they have different resources we can look at. They try to help us when possible, but actually I'm going to give hats off and kudos to our own HR department. They do a great job in recruitment. We use the typical school spring, which is what most school districts use for posting of positions. And then we also go beyond that, and we go into some other platforms to advertise for jobs. Word of mouth is also another, believe it or not, still is a good way of advertising openings in the school district. And then, so I think that's working for us as well.
I'm going to ask my next to last question.
Okay.
Any regionalization update?
Yes. So both the Newport City Council and the Newport School Committee passed resolutions for regionalization. The Middletown School Committee last week, it was funny, it was right before the ribbon cutting. I think they did it on Thursday night. They had a meeting, or a Tuesday night or Wednesday night of last week, and unfortunately they did not. Their school committee did not support regionalization. They had multiple reasons for it. I know their chair did cite it. And I did speak to committee members. Middletown did come to our ribbon opening, so it was nice to see them there. So the Middletown School Committee and members of the town council from Middletown were here, which we appreciate their coming. And we did have a few conversations about it. And right now, it doesn't look like they have any interest. They're focused on building their school over there in Middletown.
Frank, I have 4 questions, and one of them has to do with this one that were submitted, not from me. But Pete asks, speaking about regionalization, do you see another path forward for this consolidation?
There's always ways to consolidate, and there's always, so through memorandums of understanding or agreement, they're called MOUs or MOAs. You can always have some kind of consolidation as far as providing services. A good example is our finance director position has been something that I've already done outreach to the city, and I've done outreach to Middletown to see if we'd like to join services on that. So you can have discussions, and you can collapse those things without formally doing that. Let me see. We also, in curriculum, for the first time this year, we're going to have our professional development days on the same day as Middletown. So our teachers will be coming together, and they have the same curriculum. So they'll be working on the same goals and looking at the same teaching strategies for the classrooms. We try to align as much as possible with our neighbors to consolidate for purchasing power, buying power, and any other new ideas we have. But Middletown is a great neighbor, great friend, and we will continue as best as possible working together.
Right.
And we're open to ideas.
I'll hold my last question to the end.
A couple staffing question. Becky asks, with the elimination of the only school counselor position at Pell, who will be providing daily quick check-ins on an as-needed basis for students? Who will have lunch with the students who can't make it into the cafeteria sometimes? Who will teach SEL lessons in the classrooms? Who will be the go-to consistent staff member that parents can reach out to and let them know their child needs that familiar face to greet them at the door the next morning? In summary.
That was right. That was a very painful, and it still is. It's a very painful decision that had to be made along with other things. Pell, fortunately, does have a lot of support and a lot of people at Pell that have the training. Almost every teacher in the building has open circle training, and that's a social emotional learning. We also have one of their administrators is a social worker, and actually her role is looking over social emotional learning. And we do have plans getting set in place. Principal Westman did send out a communication, I believe, yesterday, and then they're going to be following up with specific people and specific parents that had children that were receiving services and assistance from the counselor that was there before. And I know that it's been a very difficult emotional time for many families because that person was very well loved. And that position, the person does have a job. It's a union situation where that person does get a classroom teaching job. So that person is supposed to be in the school for next year. So we will see what happens.
Allie asks a question more about staffing. No offense to anybody, but your questions are more like stories sometimes. Let me see if I can summarize this. Currently, Thompson has 2 social workers, 2 RBTs, and a dean, and still has 2 counselors in place. Rogers has long list. Pell has social worker, 2 RBTs, long list, but did not get to keep our 1 school counselor. How do you find the fairness in such an uneven distribution of resources to one of our most vulnerable populations in a school with some of the most need? Early intervention can help prevent more services needed later. I'm not sure if you already touched on it or if you have more to add.
No, it's okay. The question has been the same since this decision's been made. The counseling position at the elementary school is not required. So that's the first thing I need to say. And it was a very difficult, whenever we cut positions, it's very, very difficult. And also from a district perspective, I have to look as superintendent, I have to look at across the district, what are the needs? Right now, presently, I have a middle school that doesn't have an assistant principal. I have a middle school that doesn't have an ISR. I have a high school that lost a counselor position as well, and lost several teaching positions as well. We had to consolidate that. But the one position down at the elementary level has been very challenging for a lot of families. And I am convinced if we work together and we collaborate together, we can make sure that all students are supported. But again, we had a very popular person in that position, and it's been very difficult, and I understand.
The final one I have is, and of course, we had to bring it up. Rogers High, this is from John. Rogers High neighbors continue to be disappointed with the dirt pile. I'm sorry for laughing at your question, John. It's just I feel like I've talked about this dirt pile and written about it at length, which remains quite active and is no longer covered. Can that pile be used for fill eventually? If not, what is the plan? Runoff due to the rain has more than an issue for neighbors. What can be done about that?
Okay, the dirt pile. I know. So the dirt pile is under the city control, not that the school department or anyone saying, okay, it's over here, but that's kind of what's happening with it now. VHB has released a report to the city council and to the city manager. I was fortunate enough to be copied on it. And the plan is what it's always been all along. That any dirt or soil that needs to be removed will be removed. And then we will use as much as we are able to once the old building comes down. And I think that's something that everyone needs to be aware of. The site work is still going on, and it will not be completed until probably a year from now. And then from there, whatever is remaining or however everyone wishes to move forward with it, it will be capped so that it will be able to be used, I believe, in the future. If you look at the dirt pile now, you are correct that it is still pretty active as we're doing the demolition. There is a watering truck that goes by on a regular basis for the dirt and dust. So I will bring that to everyone's attention if the neighbors are experiencing something that they should not be experiencing at this time. And the dirt pile is growing quite a bit of vegetation on top of it. We have grass and bushes and everything else going on. So I think it's not going to be resolved until another year out. But in the interim, yes, we will take a look at that rising dust and try to make sure the watering tanks get over there more often.
So Colleen, I have one final question. And I've been doing a little bit of reading into nationally the investment in high quality instructional materials, particularly in literacy and math, that help address educational disparities. and making sure that every student, regardless of their background or where they live, has an equal opportunity to succeed. What are we doing in Newport to make sure that everybody is on an even playing field?
What we do is we look at each and every child and where they are, and we call it entry points. If you're, I'm going to take for instance, you said they have equal access, etc. Not all children have the same experiences. So one has to understand where children are coming from in order to teach so they can learn, improve, and grow. So in Newport here, we do assess where children are. We also are mindful of the whole child, not just the academic side of the child, and make sure that their experiences are the same or equitable to other children. And the only analogy I can always give, and I think the simplest one to understand, and I don't know if you've seen it, is you've got 3 children looking over a baseball field and they're trying to watch the game. They're all different heights. One child doesn't need anything to stand on. They can see over the fence. The one in the middle, very short, needs about 3 boxes to step on it. And then the other person needs a box. Those are the factors that need to be considered and put in place so that every child can see that baseball game going on. I don't know if your audience or I lost everyone in that analogy, but everyone's above the fence. They can see what's going on. And they all didn't need a box to stand on. And that's something we all need to understand when we're working with children and families. Not everyone needs the same thing, but we need to get them to the same place. How do we do that?
And we need communities to understand that they have to help provide the resources.
Oh, you found it.
Happen.
That's the analogy.
Ryan,
I drew it up very quick.
Yeah. That's great. Thank you. That is the simplest way to explain the difference between something being equal and something being equitable. And what is it one needs in order to achieve whatever one wants to do. And here it's something as simple as watching a baseball game. And there you go.
I should end on that note.
Well done.
Drop the mic.
Yes. All right. Superintendent, did you have any questions for us?
Or anything?
No, I'd love for you to come visit the school. We can go through, we can explain everything there. And it's really, there was a lot of thought put into the school as far as the materials that were bought, why certain, I'll just say, facilities were put in certain places on the first floor, the importance of community. I think when you walk into the building, you see it immediately when you come into the student commons. The other thing is, I think the ribbon cutting, it couldn't have gone any better. The last class from the building that's being knocked down, I'm sorry, the first class to graduate from that class, from that school, that building, the class of 1958 was on one side of the ribbon, and on the other side, we had the class of 2026. And so we had the ribbon, and in the middle, we had the students, and a student for the future cut the ribbon. So it was, and you walk through, you see the Alumni Hall of Fame, you see the carpentry class. They actually saved the Viking from the gym floor, and it's hung up in our fitness room. And the praise, the kitchens are unbelievable. The classrooms, our chemistry classrooms, our science classrooms, our English classrooms, our math, state-of-the-art, natural light. It's gorgeous. And I would love for you to come in, take a tour. And for the public, we will have some more tours in the future. We were going to try for this Saturday. I think it's a little too fast, but in the future, we'll have a couple of weekends where you can come in and you can take a look and see, be proud of the high school you enabled all of us to build through your vote and through your support. So we're looking forward to that.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Superintendent, for taking the extra time with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. Have a
And
good, have a good
good
day.
luck. Good luck in the opening of school.
Thank you. Take care.
All right, so that is Superintendent Colleen Jermain. We appreciate her taking the time with us today. And we got a good little look at the inside of the new Rogers High School in Newport Public Schools. Gets underway, grades 1 through 12, next Wednesday, September 3rd. All right, Mr. Prosnitz.
Yeah, the one thing I do want to underscore, because I think in light of the situation in Minneapolis this morning, where I don't want to call them reassurances, but at least the superintendent telling us, in fact, what safeguards there are within the schools, and to give parents a good feeling about how our schools are making sure that their children are safe.
Excellent point. All right, Mr. Prosnitz. Well, if anybody missed, thanks for joining us today, and I will chat with you here in just a minute. If anybody missed any portion of this conversation, want to watch it again, want to share it, want to listen, watch, whatever it may be, all available on whatsupnuke.com, and we'll turn it into a story here shortly as well. You can watch it anytime on social media or on our website. Thanks for watching.